We haven't talked about Facebook in about 5 minutes. Don't stare too closely. There's no watch. It's invisible. I'm just saying we do talk about Facebook frequently because, let's face it, half the galaxy is on Facebook that we know of. Facebook, if it was its own country, would dwarf other countries that really are countries on this planet. Even if you think Facebook sucks, even if you don't like Facebook, it's kind of here to stay. And they seem to be playing games. And I don't mean the Farmville variety or zombies. I haven't been bitten by a zombie in years. Sorry, I'm just looking at going with the motif of the invisible watch, okay? Just bear with me. No, they're playing games with your privacy, changing how apps interact with you, and you interact with apps. And we've crafted an article for your reading enjoyment. If you do care to read, I know this is the Locker Room Daily Report, or TLDR for short. Facebook adds new apps to timeline. Are we sharing TMI? And TMI, of course, we know is short for too much information. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up that article, +1 it, tweet it, and I'm going to like it on Facebook as well. Yes, I realize it's a tiny bit ironic. We're sharing information, right? And the more you share about yourself, the more the world is going to know about you, whether you realize you are making these gestures overtly. If you post nothing but photos of ducks, people are probably going to get the idea that you like ducks. They may even think that's an unhealthy fascination with ducks. You got to be careful about what you share, even when you think the information is benign. Now, you're going to add an app on Facebook and have a different verb associated with it. And suddenly build up a profile about yourself, the likes of which had never been seen. The world is going to know more about you based on the gestures that you are providing openly, outwardly, more than you know about yourself. You've heard the saying, why am I always the last to know? It's easy for us to look at someone else's behavior and peg them as someone that they seem to be. They may not see it themselves. They may be completely dissociated from their actions. But on Facebook, it's really easy to be yourself, and that's okay. Just be aware. When you give an application permission to do whatever you've given it permission to do, it might do that. You got to keep in mind that data is inherently yours. And if you don't want your privacy violated, my suggestion is don't share what you don't need to share. And that's not to say that Facebook's change with the way they're approaching apps and new actions and verbs is the wrong way to go. Certainly it's interesting for brands. I referred to the article last week, about us being walking advertisements. It's going to happen anyway. But, what in your mind is too much information? Now, for me, I have a completely different threshold for what too much information is for me. Of course, you could think of the extremes, and I'm sure you will. I'll go ahead and let you answer the question. I'll read from the YouTube chat box and the private nomies.com chat room here. The hope is that one day you will realize that you don't have to share everything, and life will still go on. It's something where you're in control. It's not Facebook. Don't get mad at Facebook. You can. It's pointless. If you don't like what Facebook's doing, quit. Too much information for me is oversharing. You don't need to know where I am every 5 minutes. You don't need to know what I'm watching every day. And quite honestly, it's not that interesting, by and large. For the longest time, I stopped really sharing a lot of personal details and information. Only recently, with Nomies, I wanted to open up to a very private community, which you are invited to join as well. But instead of just sharing all those personal details in such a public way and putting myself out there and my personal life out there and everybody in my personal life out there, I decided to just keep it to the people who would care the most, or seemingly would care the most. And so too much information to me is, does the world really need to know this? And if the answer is yes, then I want to share it. If the answer is maybe, then possibly I'll share it. If the answer is no, I'm absolutely not going to share it. Does the world need to know? That's my threshold for too much information. And specifically in conjunction, we detail exactly why this may be a problem for you, and you may be oversharing and you don't even know it. No one's told you possibly that you're oversharing. In fact, if someone may have sent you this video to watch, if you are someone who overshares, I don't need to know every single check-in that you make. I don't. Really. I don't need to know you're stuck in traffic unless I am possibly waiting for you on the other end, in which case, why is that a public status update? Too much information. Hopefully this video was not. Yoda apparently channeling I am. Feel free to like the video, share the link and the love. Hopefully, again, it's not too much information.